Gonna look at it.
Hello. Hi, Melissa. How
Oh,
you doing?
hi. I'm never looking when I go live. I'm good. How are you?
Good. We changed up the format a little bit. So, yes. Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to Cali Cocktail Hour, the Noche of Amor, the night of love. We're here to discuss things that are positive in our life today. I mean, even though we can talk about other things today, but I was talking to Melissa's. It's time that we bring some love out into the world, right? And share
Yeah.
ourselves. We'll have a show and tell of love tonight. Things that we
Yeah.
love, and what gets us through this time.
We're going to talk about things that are enlivening us right now and and really just kind of pay attention to what's good because we do, I think, a pretty good job on this show and with all of you in our relationships with you of addressing that like it's a very tough time and there's a lot of difficulty both personally and collectively. And it's also really important to be compassionate with ourselves and remember why being human and all of the ups and downs that we're experiencing can be worth it. And that's, to me, that's because of love. Like that is the flip side of all that is difficult and makes us all wonder, like, would it have been better to have been born a turtle or something? Because life can be hard. But yeah, so I'm excited to focus on that. I'm excited to be here with all of you. And please say hello to us. Let us know you're here, how you're feeling tonight. However that is, you know us, hopefully. And if you don't, hello. But we don't care if you're feeling good or bad. We just want to interact. And this is always kind of set up as like we're hanging out. And also, too, I want to remind all my sober people, because I'm sober and a lot of my friends are, that mocktails are cool too. Even though
Yeah.
it's Cali cocktail hour, if you
Well,
have a mocktail,
California, it's like, kombucha, all kinds of shit. Green stuff, green
green stuff,
juices, and yeah.
wheatgrass,
Grate it. Wheatgrass, yes.
grate
I have to drink my wheatgrass.
it.
Yeah, so, uh, like I said, everybody, add a comment in there, say hello, so we know you're there. I could see Eutico's here, Elisa, Kelly, and Alicia, sorry. And we'd like to thank everybody. So basically, what we're going to do too is start off the show with our friend Andrew, who is the Sacramento's poet laureate. And I don't know if you know, he has many talents. He's an album out. He's a really cool guy. Really awesome poet. Obviously, great poetry. But he's just a very gentle great being. Um, and he did send me some documents from that CIA that that were,
But
yeah, you got to read them. They're pretty cool, but it showed how meditation and like all this mental stuff, like these things work, right? And it was a document that they shut out. So that's a whole different thing. But it's not a conspiracy theory. It's actually a real thing about
I know when
you
I
know.
hear document from the CIA, I
Yeah, yeah.
immediately think, do we need to wear tinfoil hats for this?
Yeah, no. It's just it's a memo that, it's about electromagnetic energy and all that stuff. Basically,
I love the
yeah,
evidence around mindfulness because there is a lot
yeah,
of it. You and I talk about how it's so cool when science and research backs up what we already know, which is
yeah,
meditation brings this tremendous peace and all of these great things in your life. And yeah,
yeah. So today I have an art piece that I did with the Virgen de Guadalupe, and it says paz y amor, which is peace and love in Spanish, obviously amor. But I also have Kuan
mm,
Yin, the goddess of compassion, to bring out the energy here and, bring it out to you guys, because I know everybody out there is, needs a little bit of love in some way. And, as energy beings, we put it out there. We love you and we hug you as much as we can out there. So we have someone from Lisa from Portland with a peace sign and a heart. We love you, Lisa.
hi Lisa.
I've known
And
Lisa a long time.
we stand
So
with Portland and with you.
yeah. And and sometimes, and things I've been noticing that, we have to practice self-compassion too for ourselves, and really take care of ourselves, because we're out there, and we're putting ourselves out there. I know Lisa does a lot of stuff, and I know how she feels, and we talk about a lot. And I just think that, like, it's great to have people like that, empathetic people that, who care about different, everything, sometimes. But sometimes, for me too, I care, empathy hurts too, right? We talked about that today, a little bit about that, but it's within ourselves, and sometimes we need to take care of ourselves. So we'll have a little things on the show, how to practice self
Self-compassion.
compassion, yeah,
Yeah.
and
Like,
taking care of yourself. And uh, oh, we have some people here. Hola, buenas noches, Concepcion.
hello.
Hola,
Amar.
hola,
Tata
yes.
whispers.
And Chacha Whispers needs to come back on. We
Please.
are, bringing Chacha. Um, Teresa is awesome. She's a great healer. She does some energy work.
Nice.
So and she's awesome. She's just great. And Hola Yuriko. Yuriko's another great. See, this is what I love. It's beautiful people here.
It's so
Not
cool
to
to
sound
see
like
who
that.
shows up. And I'm so
Yeah,
always so tickled to meet, the people from the
yeah,
world that and there's Chris. Hi,
yeah,
Chris.
yeah.
And I mean, as we talk about all of these awesome people that are doing incredible things in the world and so full of love and empathy, I think that as we talk about self-compassion, it's just so important because those people are so needed in order to combat sounds like a really like violent word, but
Yeah.
counterbalance and show up to be poured into themselves fully in order to show up for other people. And I think just remembering that compassion fatigue exists and it can really you can get really burn out whether you're caregiving for a loved one or on the front lines of a movement or whatever it is you're doing.
See,
Giving yourself that same compassion is just so
yeah.
important.
Self-love is the best love, and you need it, right? You need the
Yeah.
self-love. You need to make sure that you replenish that well, because it does deplete itself. I've done that. I've had people, going through some really deep issues. I've had a couple of people that I know who's taken their lives, and I was telling my friends, it's okay. You got to be careful what you tell people. You got to be careful, um, because we're all struggling in some way, right? We're all having these, looking at stuff. But just know that you're loved out there, and this is kind of how we feel, right? And sometimes when you're hurt, it's okay to hurt, because this just means you have a heart, and that's how we, get stronger. And that's, it'll pass, right, at some point. And I know that from my life, is kind of like riding a wave. And so,
Mhm.
but I know, like I said, I know
Yeah.
everybody, has like these, emotional intelligence, right? Where it's like and empathy, and we talked about mourning people, right? Mourning just friendships and stuff like that. It's like, and for me, it's like I feel a lot, and I'm okay with it. I know it's going to hurt, but I wouldn't change that myself. So, hello,
Because
Bridget.
really, I mean, feeling stuff, I feel like a lot of what I do as a coach is just showing people that it's okay to feel stuff. That
Yeah, no,
we call it emotional sobriety if you're a sober person. And emotional sobriety isn't like not feeling emotions and always staying very keeled. It's just feeling emotions when they happen. It's allowing yourself to be depressed one day. It's allowing yourself to be really excited.
yeah,
It's allowing yourself to be really grieving. We were talking about endings, like feeling the depth of that. That sobriety is just being actually present with your feelings, and it's not for the faint of heart. I think we all are constantly on a practice of not doing what can be really easy and almost feel necessary, which is avoiding or numbing, even just in small ways, because life's hard, like we have to confront a lot as adult humans on a daily basis. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And Michael,
Hi,
Michael
hi,
says
Michael.
Michael's from Vermont, in Vermont right now. So
Vermont. Ooh,
feeling both your. Sorry, maybe you should read it.
nice. He's feeling both of your energy. For some reason, that was a tongue twister for me too.
Yeah,
Both
yeah,
of your energy. Thank you. Well, we're so glad to have you joining us. And yeah, everyone that's saying hello and letting us know that you're here. That is what makes this show for us. We love talking to each other, but we talk to each other off air and it's fun. So it's just awesome to hear from you guys and yeah, how things are landing and what you might want to talk about. And really, as we're about to, I know you were about to introduce that piece of work from your friend, but maybe as we watch and listen to that, everyone watching and listening can be considering, what are the things that are making me feel alive right now? What is nourishing me? Like, is it my morning coffee on the porch? Is it my dog, taking her for a walk? Is it the music that I found in my basement that I've just been rocking out to like the 80s? Like, what is it for you that is lighting up your life, even in small ways? And we would love to hear about it and just give
yeah,
some attention to that. Like, what do you love right now
yeah.
or anytime?
Like right now, I had these plants, these succulents, right? And someone bought me dirt, but the dirt was really bad. It was like organic stuff, but it wasn't like dirt. It was like the stuff, right? And so they were dying, and I bought new dirt, and I was like, okay, they're not going to survive. And I pulled the plants out, right, to replant them, and they were kind of drying, but on the bottom, these little roots, they were trying to survive, right? And I was just like, what a beautiful thing, right? Like no matter what, they're still trying to survive, even if they're given this like bad part of this
Mm,
of life, right? And so for me, it's
yeah,
like I like looking at little things that really, strike me, right? That this little plant wanted to survive, and he will, or they will, she will.
this
um,
little plan of
yeah.
mine.
And so, I look at that as like something symbolic in life, right? We struggle. Sometimes we're not watered enough. Sometimes we're, because you know, I say a lot. And that's what must be my California Spanish. Like,
It is.
dude, and awesome, bro.
I
But
I edited your podcast, so I
yeah,
already
you
knew
did.
that.
My friend does
But
that too.
I
Yeah,
say like a lot. Like we all have our ticks, and
yeah,
I didn't really. Anyway, yeah, we get it because we do know.
yeah, yeah. Because I wouldn't say I know if I didn't know, right?
If
So,
if you didn't know that I knew, because I know that you know.
yeah. And what I'm proud of is I'm proud that I don't even remember how Melissa and I got on this to do the show together, really. You know what I mean? Like it just happened naturally. It wasn't like anything planned, which I love about the show because the show started from a heart. That's what I can say about this. No matter what happens, it started from my heart, and Melissa came aboard, and kind of put two hearts.
Put
Is that
some
a
sparks
band?
in
Hearts. Yeah.
it.
Anyway, so but I'm glad that we're out here, and I'm glad that we are talking to everybody out here, and please share anything that you want to share, and just know that you're loved and we love you. And we put Walter Mercado on the logo this time because he was someone who projected really beautiful energy out there, and always was that. I remember my mom watching him. um, and we'll show a little bit because I'm going to put a little thing on about Walter because these are the people that have passed, and but they really, we all have people that resonate with us. We all have people that remind us of. of, it was hard for me because I was Mexican born in America. So I was never Mexican enough. I was never, it's just, from both sides. So I kind of had one foot in the other one, one over here, but I remember deeply my roots. And so I'm took me a long time to kind of put them together. So,
Mhm.
and Chris says, yes,
There's
yes.
a wonderful idiot about water on
I
Netflix.
think there was something else. Yeah. I
I
don't
think it's
think,
in the documentary.
yes, yes. So,
I
yes.
often call documentaries idiots, but it depends on
Yeah.
the documentary. Sometimes that's
There
like
you go. Chris, yes, Chris. See, this is what we love about, yeah. We love everybody out there to put So,
type really fast.
yes, and we created this atmosphere. It's where we get together, we talk, we have decaf coffee, right?
Decaf coffee over here.
Today I am in the red California wine. I put a little bit of lipstick to accent the red and
Really bring out
get
the
the love
depth
out there.
of the wine.
Yes,
I saw you with a coffee
so
cup too. Do you have a coffee?
that's water. So I don't get, yeah,
Oh.
but I can't. I guess lipstick will come off the thing, right?
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Did you get it like was your producer in your ear saying,
Yeah.
don't you dare drink that mug. It's gonna
Yeah.
get
So,
okay.
so we like to thank everyone for coming out and ask questions if you want to. We would love for you to do that. We're gonna play about 3 minutes of my friend. He was on here. He's the poet laureate of Sacramento, but he does a lot of different things too. He has a album out, and he's a great guy. He leads different uh, creative projects all over town. So hold on, like the lipstick. See, I knew it.
Yeah,
I'm not
it was
afraid. I'm not
it's going
afraid
over
to.
very well with people.
That's right. So we're gonna we're gonna go to play this piece, and it is a very energetic piece. It will get you calm and open up your heart chakra, so we can talk.
Mm,
Open up, and we're gonna share some of Melissa's loves of the day. I mean, loves of her life, loves of the moment, right?
the hour
So sit
present.
back, we'll relax a little bit. We'll come and we'll get to you know this video, and we'll go from there, and
We
we'll
will we will
we'll
bond
love.
over common love.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run. So
We are back. How's it going?
Oh, hi. It's good. I have to just tell you guys that Ruben thought I wasn't here, so he was like, "Hey, are you ready? You want to come
I
back?" And I
was
didn't see that he was messaging me.
I was in the groove. I was like, yeah, I was feeling it.
I was in the group too. I
Yeah.
just, when I'm not on camera, I've started to put tape over my video because otherwise I've gotten caught off guard too many times going,
Yeah. That's
when it's just a
that's
learned
the
lesson.
thing. Yeah. No, I love that. I
So,
mean, it was a very I love that he puts out there, and Andrew puts a lot of
oh my
love
gosh,
energy out
it's
there.
like hypnotizing. You just
Yeah.
get, even if you don't want to get calmer, you're like, all
Yeah.
right, fine, I
It's
will.
just funny. I told him, I said, "Hey, I haven't seen any love energy video or cuz he usually does it live.
Hmm.
Like late night, like midnight and and he's like, "Oh, he's all that's weird. I was just going to put out a video out." So I asked him if I could play it on the show. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he is
see.
awesome.
Yeah, you did cool. Yeah, there you go. See? And and it's like, we all need some calming sounds and some and I think that's what, he goes for is that energetic kind of love kind of feel, because we do what we can do, right? We're like the soldiers of love trying out here trying to, put out some good energy, even if it's like I said, even if for an hour, a little more than an hour, of your time to escape from everything else.
Yeah.
I told
I have
myself
to
I
say
wouldn't.
that,
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
oh, well, I want to know what you told yourself you wouldn't do, and I'll come back to my
Watch the
thought. What,
news.
oh,
But I did. I snuck around and I kept sneaking. It's like eating bad food, right? You're like, I gotta watch
yeah.
that. There's some drama going on.
Or
And then
stalking exes. You're like, I don't care what you're doing, but wait, let me just find out exactly what you're doing.
yeah, there you go. See. So
Yeah.
but yeah.
I have
So
to say that along those lines, I think this is somewhat related to the news, but it's interesting because some of you know I'm running a course on August 10th about how to love social media. And it's really kind of about that, but what it's really about is using social media as just a way to look at your life and love yourself and love life and be more conscious and in turn also have a better relationship online. But it's funny because I'm not, like hardcore marketing to all my friends, and I've never seen so many posts that are like individual posts of, I am so tired of social media, I'm just ready to delete it. This is my last post. You can find me on Instagram. I've seen post after post of that because of all of the divisiveness, all of the arguing, all of the stuff that some of which I see, some of which I'm like not seeing. But anyway, that's why I created this course, is that even though, like I said, people don't probably think, oh, I should love social media. Just like you don't have to be happy all the time.
yeah.
I don't love social media all the time, but I also don't feel the need to delete it anymore. I also don't feel like super controlled by the toxic fighting and arguments, even when I get in that. Like I'm not completely off the I mean, Ruben, you've seen this. Like I
Yeah.
definitely have some tense conversations online, but it's like realizing that you can kind of like the ups and downs in life, you can have all of those and also be super conscious and decide who's going to rent space in your head and like bug you all day. When you, I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys, but if when you get in like like you start, like you're like, I'm going to engage on this thread and you say something. And then the rest of the day, you're like, what the fuck did they say next? Oh, I got to respond to that. And it's like
Yeah.
that kind of stuff doesn't run my life anymore. Thank God. So,
Well, it reminds me of, the only reason I quote things because I want them to make sure that's not I'm not saying but with Eckhart Tolle, it's like it's you self-traumatize yourself all the time. Like the person on the other side doesn't even know you're spinning your wheels or you're, because that's all stress. That's all like everything that's
yeah.
coming out of you. It's like you don't need it.
Hmm.
And it's like because I used to be, well, I still am a little bit a catastrophizer, right? I follow my storyline, and it's like this. I made up a better story than what actually happened. And I was like,
Mm.
this is gonna happen, and then this car is gonna come out flying with wings. Yeah,
Yeah.
pick me up.
Aliens just abduct
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah.
And
And then so now I go, dude, you're being silly. What I mean, like it's gonna be okay. We
mm.
all we all do that in our lives.
Well, what you're
So
talking about
especially
right
social
there is
media.
mindfulness, though. Like when
Yeah,
we were just listening to that video, and that stuff can feel kind of like a lot of people are like, I don't have time to meditate. I don't have time to like self care. I don't have
yeah,
time to write in my journal. But when you just talked about being able to separate from that catastrophic story,
yeah,
or for me, being able to separate from something horrible someone might say to me online, or just an idea that pisses me off, that space of, oh, this is what's happening and this is me, that grows with mindfulness and grows with these self-care practices. And it's just, I guess I'm just such a huge proponent of recognizing it feels like you might be slowing down to stop and do that stuff, but it's actually the way to become more conscious and purposeful and dare I say happier in every part of your life, more powerful, all of it.
Yeah, because you take it back a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we want. Uh-oh, sorry, someone's
Uh-oh.
calling. There
Ruben's
you go.
blowing up over there. Do we have is someone phoning
We
into the
have a
show?
phone call. Yes. Oh, why don't you? So, but we like to welcome everybody. There's always people that come in a little bit about this time. And hold on, we have a second here. Read it. Love it.
uh, Sorry, I just tried to go to your screen to look at who's here.
Sorry.
Chris, you're gonna have to leave for a bit. Hopefully I'll be back before the show is over. And yes, there is a story. Yes, there is a
We
story.
need a story.
You know,
So,
I have to say to Chris really fast if he's still
yeah.
here. Earlier, when he accidentally typed idiot instead of video, what I think is funny about that is that often if you're on your phone, often our phones will like autofill words we use a lot. So I'll find that suddenly like my phone is like saying something like random, like LaCroix when I'm trying to say something else because I was like, I don't know. So anyway, Chris, we need to hear the story about the idiots when you come back.
That's right.
I think there's a story there.
And if anybody out there is coming in, joining us, please, this show is about love tonight, positivity, and, whatever you want to talk about tonight. But put some comments in the page, or is it comments in the page or page in the comments?
Yeah. Tell us how you're feeling.
Yeah,
What's
yeah.
the feeling of the night? What's going
So,
on for you? How are you doing?
and so we're going to share, I'm going to pull up some pictures of Melissa and her. I asked Melissa, I said, show me what, gets you through the day. What's love right now have to, not have, what's love have to do with us? Tina Turner.
What's love got
Yeah.
to do?
So,
Got to do with it.
so what is your love today? And we will go to a picture. I will bring it up.
Yay. Oh my goodness. So the picture is on my left. I assume everyone's left of me holding my daughter Tilly and my cat, who her name's Calypso, but we call her the Boo. And when Michael snapped that picture, we don't really let Tilly near the cats because she's not particularly conscientious yet. And we don't want her to hurt them. We don't want her to get scratched. But she was like nice petting her, and the Boo was being calm. And he was like, oh my God, that's like the happiest I've ever seen you because I have a cat and I have my baby. And that is heaven to me. And then the picture on the right is Michael, my partner, and he's holding our daughter and a redwood. And we do this thing where we drive around Sacramento and just stop in neighborhoods and walk in those neighborhoods. And we were in this really beautiful area that's right by Howe, and it's like super nice houses. And I saw this huge redwood tree, and I love redwoods. I think they're majestic and they just remind me of God and like majesty and all that is good. And so to have Michael, Tilly, and a redwood all in one photo. And it was kind of a moment that I don't know about you guys, but in this time of quarantine, we're still really quarantined. It's a real treat to get out of the house and just walk in a different neighborhood, like even if it's just in our town. So yeah, that was a really fun day.
And where was that? How big was the tree? I mean, obviously it was a huge tree, right?
Yeah, it was pretty big. I mean, on the scale of like, Avenue of the Giants, it wasn't huge, but it's a big tree. It was solid and yeah, super. And I guess maybe that's part of why I like redwoods too, is I feel like they kind of put things in perspective, especially those really big ones of
Yeah.
just very grounding. And I've always felt that trees just have this energy. Whenever I see a
Yeah.
redwood, I just put my hands on it. And I think I might have told you this last week when I was having a tough week. I have a redwood in my backyard. That was part of why we wanted to live here, is that I was like so drawn to the tree and it looks like it's dying. It's getting brown all over. So if anyone watching knows anything about redwoods, I've been contacting my like tree people, my tree friends, and I'm watering it, but I'm really sad because I'm afraid that I'm losing something that I love. And that whole attachment thing. Obviously, I'm doing
Yeah.
all that I can, but
And trees, they bring you so much love too, without even knowing it. And they have so many stories of like people that live there, and it's a great thing. And I do a lot of pictures of trees, and I do a series of auras of trees. So they're more energy wise, but I feel like I can feel it. I gotta stop saying. Is there a course for that?
There is. I'll tell you about it. It's like really what it is, Ruben, is just recording yourself and like and you already do that. You just have to watch these shows over and over and then just beat yourself every time you hear yourself say,
I thought I was gonna get a zapper for myself. Every time I say it, I zap myself. So
color on yourself.
yeah, yeah.
We
So
all do it. We all do it. So
and hello to Zach. How you doing? All good. I didn't miss it today.
hi
Yes, you
Zach.
didn't miss it today.
Yay,
So yeah. And how's everybody doing out there? We're doing
welcome.
great. I can feel it. So
How about what you're feeling? What do you love? What's lighting you up? What's getting you down? What's good, as they say? Any of it.
So, as part of a love one, I played this on Wednesday for the show, and to me, it was poignant because everybody always like talks about Frida Kahlo and her paintings, and but there's a really she makes these letters to Diego that are just. I mean, I know people don't understand the relationship but it was a very powerful, and she could tell she loved him so much, right? And the way she writes is the way she paints, and it's like, it's an awesome letters to read from her. Such passion inside of it. So I did an installation one time, an installation art show, and it was I did glitch art. I took her art, like pieces from her art, and kind of just glitched it out just to make it part of the show. Had these glasses that were diffused all the lights. So really, you couldn't go there if you had like we're sensitive to it. So I want to play that. My friend Ruby, I recorded the music. I mean, I did the music myself, except for the very bit in the very beginning. La Llorona's on there, and I also recorded my friend Ruby, who did the reading of the Frida Kahlo piece. So, and it's only a minute long, so we'll play it and we'll come back. Okay, and it's going to cover us up. So enjoy it. Come back, have a sip. Adios. No, adios. Hola. Salud.
Diego, nothing compares to your hands, nothing like the green gold of your eyes. My body is filled with you for days and days. You are the mirror of the night, the violent flash of lightning, the dampness of the earth. The hollow of your armpits is my shelter. My fingers touch your blood. All my joy is to feel life spring from your flower fountain, that mine keeps to fill all the paths of my nerves, which are yours.
And we're back. That
Wow,
was quick.
that was quick.
Yeah. So when I was in Oaxaca, they had these letters to Frida that wrote on a. She wrote to a doctor, and so there was like this museum that had them, and you could read them. And yeah, she's a good writer.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah. She really gave it to him in a way too, which I
Yeah,
love. Yeah,
you're like, ooh, I feel like I shouldn't be like a party to this. Like, it's such a private poem, just because it's so full of obvious like passion.
yeah. And yeah, passion was their their thing. So, but it's
Yeah.
all love and good. So, we're gonna come up with another one of yours, and
Mm.
yes, things that make you happy.
I sent this to Ruben as a joke, but then really it's something that I totally love. And so on the right, I don't even know. I think I saw this yesterday. I have a cat who has the most scrumptious, soft, the most plump little belly, and all you want to do is touch it. And every time I touch it, I end with like blood all over my arm because she's crazy. So that meme I thought was hilarious. And then the left side, I love fires. I love campfires and obviously, when they're not harming someone's property or rainforest. I love contained, beautiful, because what they signify to me are gathering places. I guess from as
Yeah,
long as humans have been humaning together, the fire was the place where you gathered for warmth and to talk and to share stories and community. And I even call my little Facebook group for my podcast the virtual campfire because it just makes me feel more warm and close with the people on there. And yeah, so that's where my love for these come into play. And again, I love if anyone watching has things that have like things that have been making them laugh or making them feel connected to others. Something else, I'm done talking about these in case you want to take them off, Ruben.
There you go.
I know you guys want to see our faces. Anyway, are we going to talk about the things that you love? Because I love going on and on about the things that I love, and I
Yeah,
could keep.
yeah. We're headed that direction too. So, I have been, living or studying Eastern philosophy for a long time, and most of them are guys. And I mean, I've come across some women, and I've decided to switch my teachings or understandings with women, and Oprah's been like one of the biggest ones um, that I watch because I think that she's empathetic, right? She's emotion intelligence off the charts, and also she really does her work, and she whether people understand her or not, or she is a energy being, and she'll tell you that stuff like that. So, but there is the reason I'm making these videos is because there is a work called compassionate I'm gonna forget, I'm gonna mess it up. Anyways, it is better children, and we'll go to that video right now. And these are the things that we love and things that get us through the day, and this is one of them that I think gets me through the day, is watching women's wisdom. So here's one for you.
Every time you have something that is unwanted,
Right.
that makes you uncomfortable, where you really don't want to go
Even
there and deal with
insecure. Yeah.
That's what we mean by suffering.
Yeah.
Yes.
Another way it's sometimes translated as discontent.
Discontent.
Yeah.
That's the perfect word.
Yeah.
How do we end
So
our discontent?
there's that discontent, and you recognize it, and you wish to be free of it. So instead of running away or eating something, drinking something, whatever, yelling at someone, instead you breathe it in. And sometimes I use the image of, it's as if you breathe it into your heart, and your heart just gets bigger and bigger. Every time you breathe in, the heart gets bigger and bigger, so that no matter how bad it feels, you just give it more space. So when you breathe in, you open to it, I guess you could say.
Oh, I
And
get
when
this.
you breathe out, you just send out a lot of space.
Okay, so what you're really saying is, and I think this is so important for anybody going through anything, you have to first accept that what has happened has really happened. So that breathing in is like being with it and fully accepting
That's right.
this moment, instead of trying to resist it and push it away.
Sometimes I say, what does your heart feel like? People will say, it feels like a rock. What does your stomach feel like? It feels like a knot. It's as if my whole body was clenched fists and like this, because I'm so miserable.
Yeah.
And say, okay, so breathe in and just let that heart open, let the stomach open. It's as if when you breathe in, you were going like that,
Okay.
I surrender.
I surrender. I know that.
And you breathe in deeply, you breathe out deeply. And if you want to just do 6 in-breaths where you emphasize that, go right ahead, But usually it's on the medium of the breath, breathing it in, kind of allowing it, welcoming it even, embracing it even. I mean, you can use whatever word works,
That's called compassionate abiding.
Yeah, compassionate abiding with yourself.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, I mean, sometimes right away, sometimes a long time down the line, I have people say, when you breathe in, you could recognize that all over the world right now and in the past and in the future, people are going to feel exactly what you're feeling now. The feeling of being rejected, the feeling of being unloved, the feeling of insecurity, the feeling of fear, rage, whatever it is you're feeling, that human beings have always felt this and always will. And so you breathe in for everyone, that they could welcome it, that they could say, I haven't done anything wrong, embrace it.
So that's what gets me through the day.
I love that.
Yeah.
Practices like that, teachers like that. Is that kind of what you mean?
Yeah, and well, specifically that technique too. So, and knowing that there's a lot of people out there that need it, even though you can do it yourself and put it out there, put it out there yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It kind of reminds me of RAIN, which these are all sort of similar and overlap with each other, but RAIN's that acronym for when you have a feeling and it's like you recognize it,
Yeah.
you allow it, you investigate it. So you ask, where is it in my body? Kind of like, how does my heart feel? How does my stomach feel? And then the end is nurture with compassion. And it's so much of what we would want for other people. But yeah, I think that's, really beautiful practice.
We have, yes. See, and copal, I love the smell of copal. And it is, she's a spiritual cleanser, Trey says. So if you need some clearing of energy, she does a great job. And the smell of copal reminds me of Oaxaca during the Day of the Dead, because it's always all around the city. There's two things that remind me of that: the smell of marigolds and the smell of copal. So if anybody needs a spiritual cleansing, and she does, yeah. So
Can you
yeah,
we can you do these virtually? Is it Teresa? I don't want to say her name
yeah,
wrong.
Teresa.
Because I know that a lot. I didn't used to think that energy work could be done virtually, but I had theta healing done actually years ago. It had nothing to do with COVID. It's just that my healer lived in like Minnesota, and I didn't, and it was really powerful. So I
Yeah.
wonder if she's doing it virtually, and if so, how can people access that? Because I think it would be really great to have as a resource.
Yeah, I think she can do them on outside too. So, she's Sacramento based too. I mean, if you live in Sacramento, I think that she can do those probably outside too. So, you want to read the whole thing?
I love the sound of the drums, smell of copal, and the energy from dancing. Ooh, I love that energy from dancing. I also love when I do a spiritual cleanse. I can feel when the person's heart is hurting, and I can fill their heart with love. Also, hugs are important. Hugs should not be underestimated.
Yeah. No, I mean, especially now that you feel like, oh, hold on. She said yes, I can.
Oh, okay,
So,
awesome.
so Teresa, can you put your information in the comment line so we can show
And
people,
people
or
can
yeah,
reach
people
out
can,
to you,
yeah.
or
Yes, and yeah, a little more information too. But I also wanted to get her because she also has I believe she has a store, and she does come out to events and sells her stuff too. So that was part of the plan too. From from last week doing a maker, right? So is to promote people and make sure that they are able to get their stuff out there, because it's hard right now. So Colleen is here.
Oh my
Hello,
gosh, I was just
Colleen.
thinking about how we haven't seen Colleen for a while.
Yeah.
And I was looking at
Or
Colleen posted a
Zara.
picture, or Zara.
Yeah,
Hi.
Zara. How you doing? Yeah.
Hello, lovelies. I saw Colleen posted a picture of Colleen is a painter. For anyone watching who doesn't know her, she's an incredibly talented painter. And because I'm like obsessed with cats, she put up a picture of her paintings. I assume they were already dry because her cat was just standing on them. And she was like, "Here is my little helper." I remember seeing this. It was like a picture of a script, or like a scroll from like the 1700s, like very old parchment paper with like ink, when people would have like those quill things to write with. And so someone had like a little plop of like ink and their little feather pen, but across the scroll were just paw prints, like a cat had stepped in the ink and walked across the scroll back in like 1742 or whenever this thing was written. And it was, this picture said, "Cats ruining shit since the beginning of time." And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm sure any artist can relate to that, and just any human that has a cat, because
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh, you want to do this thing? I'm gonna lay right on it."
So we have Teresa's email on there, and it's in the comments. And I was wondering, Teresa, if you could write maybe just a little bit of what you do, that'd be great, because I don't want to not ruin, but
He doesn't want to bastardize.
Yeah, what you do. So yeah. So could you put that out there and for us, and we can put it up there. But if
Yeah,
you
I
want
love
to, if you want a healing, spiritual healing, before I say
And
more,
when I get that feeling,
that's right.
I need spiritual healing. Spiritual. Whoa. Talented. Very talented.
Yeah, where is the mute button on the
We're gonna get ourselves muted because my singing is so good that Facebook is like, oh my gosh, they can't play that song.
Yeah, it's
Copyrighted.
yeah. So we're gonna go to something else you love, and we'll go right here, and you can explain to us. Anybody out there, please, it
Yeah,
would be
share
cool.
with us the things that you
Yeah,
love.
and maybe next time what we'll do is we'll maybe just send pictures to me, and I can put them up, and we can share our all love for each other and what we in this time too.
Oh,
How
that
to
would be
bring it back.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. Ready? Go.
Oh, okay. So on the left is this rock garden in Tahoe Park, and you can see Black Lives Matter is in the middle of it. And I always see rocks in this park. Like, I just love that there are people who paint rocks, and for one, just make social statements with them that people walk by and see every day, and just sort of show solidarity in that way. But I also love just the community act of like painting and hiding and finding rock. Um, I love cemeteries, and I used to, when I lived closer to it, I would always go to the cemetery on Folsom, and in the middle of it, there's this bench that is a memorial to someone, but it's like literally in the middle of this huge cemetery. And I walked up to the bench, and this was before Tilly was born because she wasn't with me. And there was a rock that just said something like, "You are enough, keep going." And it assumed that someone who showed up in the middle of that cemetery, and sat on this small little bench might be hurting or lonely. And I left it there for someone to find. I just thought I see those all the time. And I think it's just such a cool thing that demonstrates the kindness and beauty of people and creativity and connection. And then on the right, that's me holding Tilly, and we're looking at, I don't even know exactly where we were, but something we've been doing the last couple of weeks while we're still quarantined is that we'll take a day trip just up to like the foothills. So we went to Amador County a few weekends back, and this was us there. And it's just fun to show your child things that they've never seen. And she doesn't necessarily know what we're looking at, but I
Well,
love
she loves it.
nature. Yeah, she loves being with us, and I think that I'm already really experiencing that joy of just getting to see things through her eyes. Whether
Yeah,
she decides to love the things I do or not, it's just really cool to be like, look, this is a stream, this is a waterfall, this is a leaf. Ooh, like things that we're just so used to, and she's categorizing and learning every day, and everything's like, oh, that's her noise every day. So
oh, that's perfect. That's what we need to go back to. People talk about,
oh,
going back to the childlike mind and like looking at a leaf, right? And when you walk, right, you see all this stuff going around you, and it just kind of goes by you, right? And we see all the beauty that you don't have to go to nature to find all this stuff. It's real right here in the urban setting where we're at. You got to find that beauty everywhere you can. That's what I try to do. Is try to find that
yeah,
beauty, like what's around me, and what's going to make me happy or make me think about something that's on there. So,
yeah, yeah.
but oh, sex. Okay, well, there you go. See,
Do you know this person? We're not getting
no, I
hacked
guess
in, are we?
no. That's I don't know. Yeah. Hello. There you go. See,
Cool. Sex
so
is great as
yeah,
long as
it's another
there's
one.
consent.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's actually
So
what tonight's show is about, is consent.
so
Well, actually, I want to stop this for a second, and I don't know if you're going to get mad at me for this, but
no,
speaking of, I think that Ruben, I think you do a really great job of bringing in makers, local makers here in Sacramento, artists, people who are doing incredible work all over, and making sure that you share their message or their work so that they can hopefully, experience some success from that. And I want to know about your work. Is there anything that you are like putting up for sale this week? Is there a place that we can go? And because you make incredible art, and I don't feel like we showcase it enough. And I know you do other shows, and I see them, and you're not, I don't think anyone gives you the mic. So I just want to, maybe we should make a show for that
I
where
do.
we
I do
go
have the
through.
mic. I do have the mic.
I set you up for that
No,
one.
I mean, yes, of course. I mean, there is, but right now, of course, I always like going to this side. Yeah,
I
I
was like,
mean,
I know you're
we
gonna
will
get
go.
mad at me for this, but we just like
Mad.
when we were talking to Teresa, like
Yeah.
recognizing people really need that energetic and spiritual healing that she can provide. It's like
Yeah.
she does us a service by telling us how we can get a hold of her and how we can access that. So it is a disservice to us if you don't share fucking work with us, Robin. So anyway, that's my soapbox. I would
And
love, maybe we should do an episode where we just go through some of your pieces, and
yeah, we are going to do the Ruben episode.
I would love that.
What does he think? Who is he? Why crow feathers? Why lipstick? Why? I mean, come on. He was goth,
What makes
and then
him
he was
tick?
goth. That's right. That's next on the next. That's the after hour show. It's too
I like
controversial.
that.
So
It's
here's one for you to
beautiful.
read. I'm gonna pull it up right now. I appreciate what you're trying to do, and that's my deflection. What do you
Yeah,
think?
I hear it. I see it. We're gonna come back to this. Maybe not right now,
Yeah.
but just in general, because it's
There you go.
important. Okay. I love that there are people like you reaching out. I have to leave in a few minutes to tend to my family. I'm proud of myself for trying something new here online with people I've never met in person. Gracias. Sorry.
There you
I
go.
can't read this. See you next time. And thanks for encouraging me to put on some lipstick too. Oh, I
See?
love that. That makes me so happy. That is like the reason we do this, is comments like that. So thank
Yes.
you. Thank you for sharing that. And it might feel like it's a small thing, but it's a really big thing to engage with people that you don't know and share parts of yourself and even just say hello. Like, you guys, I wouldn't have done that online even a year ago. So I'm just so tickled with I'm afraid I'm going to say the name wrong. Concepcion.
Concepcion. Yeah. Go on.
We're so grateful you were here. I guess that's me deflecting. And all of you that are here, even if you're not saying anything, because I guess that's what I used to do, is I would just lurk, because it's it can be like awkward to engage. So
that's right. Even online. So hold on, we have something here.
well, enjoy your night with your family, and thank you for joining us. We're here every week.
So yeah, gracias para viniendo aquí. And I am going to play something, which, we're supposed to play something we love. And my culture, being Mexican, I love Mexico. I love Mexico made me the artist that I am. And so this next piece is going to be a little bit more than about 2 minutes. But it's actually the first time I ever went to Mexico, to go back and look after my mother passed away that raised me. I went to go back and look for my birth mother, and her, my roots from her. So hold on. See, Concepcion, we have people saying goodnight to you. Yeah. So, and this piece is, the beautiful people of Mexico. That's what I call it. Everybody can say anything they want about Mexico, whatever the political thing is, but I want to bring out the beauty, and that's what I try. As an artist, I feel like I need to bring out the beauty in wherever I'm at, because there's enough negativity, and I know people will say things like, you got to say this. I'll say things when I need to say them, and I will go deeper than most people about stuff, so I'm okay. But I also understand that we need to show the beauty of certain situations, right? And feel like my job is my life is to bring out the beauty of the people of Mexico, because a lot of times we're ostracized for immigration issues and working. And, when I grew up, it was like, oh, look at the lazy Mexicans. I'm like, how the fuck are you talking about lazy Mexicans? You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't, I was a kid. I was like, we're probably working harder than, so anyways, when I went back, I took a camera, and I didn't know anything about photography, but I took some pictures, and this is part of one of this. I mean, I don't put out a lot of stuff because it's very hard impactful for me. So I kind of keep it close to myself. And right now, because of COVID, though, I'm actually, looking at stuff and putting it out, and it's taken years to do that. And so we're going to put a piece up here. And the recording I did is actually a recording of a trio that when I was in Zacatecas, in this town called El Huajote, in which my mother was born. And I was looking for my indigenous roots. I didn't really care about my Spanish roots. I'm kind of coming together with my Spanish roots, but I was always more feeling of indigenous, which is awesome, because when I got my DNA, I was more indigenous than I was Iberian coast. So so that made me happy. I was like, okay, cool. I felt it. And so, but again, you can't negate your other part of your life. So, but here is a short little piece that I did with I called the beautiful people of Zacatecas.
Machada.
So that was a quick minute of looks like the funky chicken went out somewhere. But I appreciate it, Colleen. Thank you. And that was the end was my aunt. And it was picture of there my Tio Blas, who was 103 years old, I think, when I met him. And but it goes to show you that people in Mexico, they live their life with the land. They live. There's some Huichol natives there, which are indigenous to the area, and I would like to say that the indigenous are always not treated very well, even in Mexico. So, and that's why I put the picture in there. I did a show one time at, I think it was Zocalo, and I put them in there because I wanted people to understand, like, there is still stuff that that we need to address too, right? We all do. Even this country, we need to address. And but I do feel that my job is to bring the beauty of Mexico and the hard work, the culture. And I realized something, like there is certain countries that bring certain things, but Mexico, we bring the EQ, right? Emotional intelligence. Like, we are culture, we're love, we're music, we're art. That's where I learned everything at. Color. I mean, you go down there and color is everywhere. The people are so nice, yes, there's some really elements that are, not so good in there, but I always felt like it was my job to bring out the beauty of Mexico and the people and the hardworking people. And, it takes a lot to try to get to this country. And my heart goes out to the people, to the kids that are at the border right now in cages, and that's also one thing that, I do feel passionate about at this time is, I mean, I don't think any kids need to be like that. So, but the whole point of this whole thing was to bring out the beautiful people and the beautiful kind of Mexico's a mixture of people. Like, my DNA is a mixture of different cultures, and that you have to kind of reconcile, because it's not just one part of yourself. You have different parts. I have African, I have Jewish, Iberian, all kinds of stuff. So Neanderthal, lots of Neanderthal.
That's like your most dominant.
Yeah. So.
Well, as I hear you talking about that and the beauty of Mexico, and it does shine through your work. And something I love about the photography that I always see from Oaxaca and just from you is that I love that you shine a light on the beauty of age, that there's a lot of really old, really weathered and just the beauty in that. We don't get to see that a lot in this culture and appreciate it. And I think that's part of why we as a culture, especially, I'm just going to finish this thought, are so afraid of aging and dying, kind of like going back to our conversation last week. So I love that you illuminate the beauty in life, because that's what age is a longer lived life.
Yeah. And, and the thing is, like, in Mexico, you have your elders with you, right? You don't put them in a house or a home, right? You have to, like, take care of them, because that's just kind of the culture, right? It's a family unit. And people think that the males, like, yeah, they're macho and they do this stuff, but it's the woman that has the power, the woman that makes the decisions. It's the women that are the queens. They're the ones that we all like. You can never say nothing about a Mexican person's mom, because it'll be a fight. And there's a reason for that. So and that's something that it is it may seem like a patriarchal society, but it's actually a matriarchal society. We love our people that have passed away. We don't forget them. So, and it's hard for me. I mean, it's different for me because I grew up here, so I'm learning more about my own culture as I go every year to Oaxaca. And even though I'm from Zacatecas, I've learned a lot of different different ways to go. So here's a long one. You would read it for me?
Sure.
No. Sorry.
I'm having deja vu.
Yeah. Okay. Let me go back to you. Okay.
Was it a different one that you were trying to put up?
No, there was a whole bunch of them. So.
Okay. It was just all of them together.
Thank you, Colleen. Yeah, thank you, Colleen. Thank you, Zara, too, and Chris, and Amber. Now, Amber went with me to Oaxaca, and Amber is the one that I talked about, who, when she was sitting there watching the rituals and the everything going on in for Day of the Dead, she's the one that said, I realized that maybe these rituals are for the people that are living, so they know that they'll never be forgotten. And I think that was a super poignant observation, because it is true. Like, we know that we can die and we'll never be forgotten. It's the people. It's here in the West and up here north that we fear dying because we feel like we'll be forgotten, right?
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's opening up. So I wanted to say this to everybody out there too, is that I encourage you to make an altar. I encourage you to make an altar for the people that you love that passed away, because it is so healing out there for everybody. And it's so healing for you to do it yourself. It's so healing that, you'll remember that person that gave you all that love and all that, the things that you learned. You have to learn from somebody. So, and I know that it's hard to go in there and start, thinking about what is their favorite thing? What did they like to talk about? And it's hard, but it's also very healing. It's like making a mandala. So, and it's very meditative when you start putting these objects on the altar. But I really, people will talk about, oh, they can't do that because, Mexicans do that, and white people are doing this. And, it's not about that at all. That transcends all race and all cultures. Right. And, and death is suffering is like, that's another one that we have to, we all embrace. Right. And it all happens to all of us. We loved ones pass, and, but it's also very important that we keep it open and our hearts open to them too. So that's my feeling. So
Yeah. Yeah.
this is the long one. Well, not too long.
That was beautiful. What a wonderful nightcap. Good night, Colleen. Good night, everyone. Good night, everybody. Until next time. Good night to you. And I know that we
Ganesh,
I,
it's okay.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I know that we go on kind of late. I think that was the thought I was about to say. And yeah, it's just nice when you guys pop in, and really this is it really is kind of like we're hanging out at a house and you stop by when you can, and it means a lot to us to be able to share space, but truly to be able to share space with you and share these things, because part of why social media and this connection is a good thing. Were you laughing at?
Oh, it's just something you wrote. Something private.
Yeah. I just had to block my first person. This is like
Awesome,
the first one there. Yeah.
I love it.
That but so I guess what I was saying is that we are not just like yelling into a void, and it can feel like that sometimes when we're not physically together, right? Like, on, gosh, I feel like I totally lost my train of thought. I think what I was saying is just ultimately that you guys matter to us, and it's really great to show up here every week and to have this point of connection. And I'm just so grateful for it. And yeah, and that's part of why that's what I was going to say. It's like, that's part of why I love these mediums, or just, this is why I love writing, because it's like my favorite medium, but that to be witnessed in your pain or in your celebration or in your silliness or whatever it is, like I saw, now I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say this because it's her life, but watching people's life events, it's like, it's cool to have those things witnessed. And that's the really beautiful thing about having social media and this point of connection for us. And yeah, I'm grateful for you guys. So that's one of the things I love.
And we love you guys. We really do. So this, we put ourselves out, and anything, is open here. Like I said, you need help, call us, text us, or, message us afterwards too. And the next one we want to do is, so I was telling Melissa, I did this at work one time, and I put out Gary Chapman's The Love Languages, right? And it was pretty cool because everybody was, looking at it, and you couldn't actually really talk to people, even though it's not about you're in love with these people or not that, but just what they, what their needs are, right? And we should look at these. I'm going to bring them up, and Melissa's going to talk to them because she's a little more articulate on this stuff. So yes,
am I?
Yeah. But really look at this stuff, because it really does help out. And it really, I know this, it's a book was written kind of a while ago, but these are things that are kind of timeless too. And everything always will evolve, but it is one thing that you should definitely look at and we talked about the 4 agreements is another one that we may tackle next week, right? Not say tackle, just show you the little bits of it so you can explore more. Being that finger pointing toward the moon, right? It's like you do your own investigations, but we'll open that door for you. But this one is pretty cool because it's helped me a lot too, getting to understand my life partner, and things that guys guys need a lot of help, and guys need a lot of guidance because the generations of men have been known not to emote emotion, right? Or they don't know what to do. They always want to fix things and they don't listen, right? Guys, biggest thing is they never listen. They just like talk, and you'll say something, well, I can fix it. I'll fix it. And then it kind of irritates things. But if you sit there and learn, I mean, this is something that I had to learn myself, and sit back and just listen to people, listen to what they're trying to tell you instead of always trying to have an argument. People will always say, Ruben, you just want to talk when you want to talk. And I'm like, no, I'm actually listening to you. I'm not listening to you just because you want to emote all this emotion and anger, right? I'm actually listening to what you're trying to say. And that's called compassionate listening, where you sit back and your only thing is actually to listen to people and try to heal them by listening and not giving them solutions, not doing anything else. That's for another time. You skip that time because
Yeah.
it's hard, and so, but this one was actually kind of fun to do and actually fun to pick apart, right? And go, oh, okay, I get it now. And I'm gonna bring it up. So ready?
Yay.
Yeah. So this is it.
You want me to read anything or?
Yes.
Oh gosh, I'm not wearing my glasses, Ruben. So I'm just going to give like a broad overview because I think that'll help people more than just reading them. But the 5 love languages are this idea, or this, I don't know, theory by Gary Chapman. Is that his name?
Yeah.
And it's like a quiz you can take. It's a book you can read. And these are kind of generalized, but it's essentially saying by finding out what your love language is and what your partner's is, or more importantly, knowing yours, it helps you to know how you feel loved. And how, if you don't know how you feel loved or how your partner feels loved, you might be speaking different languages in the same house. So even though you're shouting, I love you, if you're shouting it in a language your partner doesn't understand, they're not going to hear it. So the 5 of them are words of affirmation, physical touch, receiving gifts, quality time, and acts of service. And I think that's a really cool graph, actually. I'll have to look at that later in more detail that you have up right now. Because what I love about it is that it's not just saying, oh, this is your love language, but it's saying how to communicate it and things to not do. And yeah. So Ruben, were you going to talk about?
Well, I think it's interesting, like because if I look at them myself, let me go back to the what you want to do. You want to pick out like what your first 3 top 3 tier, or you want to put them all in order, right? So mine would be physical touch, right? Quality time, acts of service, words of affirmation, and receiving gifts, right? And so you look at that and you kind of put them in together. So when I was manager, I put this out and I was just listening to people like, oh, I'm this, because a lot of people I've never seen. I saw it because of Oprah, on her social series. But I started to read it, and there is some stuff to really look at, because no matter there was one where a guy got up and he was talking to the author. He said, I want to give her a massage, but she's always tensing up. And, no matter what she does, and it makes me mad that she tense up. So I try to, massage her more, and I just don't get it. And he's like, look, you're not listening to her. He said, and he asked her, he's like, what's your love language? He's like, words of affirmation and acts of service. And, and he was like, well, I don't get it. She's like, well, you're not doing anything around the house, right? You're not doing this stuff, doing chores, right? And I think on the actions to take, it says doing chores or making breakfast in bed, go out of your way to help in the daily workload, right? And so basically he was trying to, he asked him, he's like, well, what's your love language? He's like, well, physical touch. He said, well, what you're doing is actually projecting your love language on her, and she doesn't like that. And not that she doesn't love you, it's just that that's not her, her thing, right? So I looked at that myself and I was like, okay, well, I know that my Melissa is acts of service and words of affirmation, the top two. So I concentrate on that. Not, I'm not saying, oh, look what I did. Look what I did. I did the dishes today, or I did this. I did this. But I actually physically or mentally put that into my my thing. My thing to do, and it really it's a wonderful thing to learn, especially as a guy. Guys have a
Mhm.
really different way of thinking. So, but I'm also
Yeah.
sure women do too. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're talking about is like the masculine and feminine qualities or energies too,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
you're more attuned to your like feminine quality. So I don't think that you're like
But
I don't know, as like under the spell of toxic masculinity, which is like part of what makes men think they're not allowed to have emotions. But what I think is really cool about what you just said is not even just that and speak the other's love language, but just that you want to. Because I think
yeah,
that it's
yeah,
really underestimated, the want to love someone the way they need to be loved, or to, I don't know. I think that's a really important part, is just the earnest desire to speak that language. I think that's just a really cool quality.
yeah. And you really have to look at these because it really helps you out. And it's like even just like with people that it's really friendships, right? And everybody's like receiving gifts. Okay, well, it's not the fact that they're materialistic, but it's actually the way of you going out of your way to get them a gift. Like it can be anything you want, but they think about it like as going to the store, right? Going to the store and taking time to think about them, right? Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
Making it you know, uh, dressing it up, right? And so those are different ways of looking at it too. They're not materialistic, but they're actually good to look at, and I think that they're fun. If you look at them, you can actually say, "Oh, you ask your mom, what would her love languages be?" Right? Like people's, or your aunt, or whoever it is, and just look at and then look back at them and way you talk to them, and then you say, "Okay, I get it," because
yeah.
so
I
yeah,
think one of the biggest parts of this too is recognizing how individual we all are. And even though, it's fun to sort of categorize ourselves in these like groupings, I think the real gift of this book and this idea is this recognition that, not everyone thinks and feels like I do. And knowing that, how can I be the best partner, or be the best father, or be the best friend? And something I found interesting is that my love languages have changed since I had Tilly, because I didn't really used to care about acts of service. And now that's like number one. Like, if Michael will help me, if he'll do like go above and beyond and do things around the house, if he'll, I don't know, like get her dressed for the day and I look and she's already dressed, it's like that stuff that I never would have imagined caring that much about. That
yeah.
says, wow, you just saved me 5 minutes, or, whatever the headache of doing that thing was. So kind of recognizing that we're dynamic people, and we can shift and change and
And we do,
grow.
right? With life situations, right? We always change. And
Yeah.
that's me too. Um, Do me a favor. Why don't you read from, oh, so sorry, I'm like dyslexic, so from left to right, like how to communicate, take actions, and how to avoid.
You want me
Right?
to read all of them?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because Chris says he can't see him on this phone, so
Yeah,
I
I can
figured.
barely see him too. That's the only reason. I don't have my glasses, but I'll try.
Okay.
So I'm just going to make stuff up. I'll make my own love language.
How
So,
about,
words of affirmation,
yeah,
how to communicate them is you encourage, you affirm, you appreciate, you empathize, you listen actively. The actions to take, I don't want to read all of these. Sorry. I'm
okay.
realizing that this is really hard for me. And
Oh,
so maybe this is something you can possibly share in like
yeah,
a comment so someone can make bigger.
yeah.
Um,
Can you not see him?
Not very well. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll read them on there. They're not that big of a language, so I think I could do it.
Okay.
So
Okay.
so actions, words of affirmation, actions to take. Send an unexpected note, text, or card. Encourage genuine and often, right? Things to avoid. Non-constructive criticism or recognizing or appreciating effort, right? That's one of them. Physical touch would be number two. Nonverbal use of body language and touch to emphasize love. Actions to take: hugs, kisses, hold hands, show physical affection regularly, make intimacy a priority, thoughtful priority. So these are like what to do with the other person, not what you feel. And the point is that you make them, you feel like what what you need. You can tell your partner what you need. So things to avoid: physically neglect, long stints without intimacy, receiving affectionately coldly from them, right? The number 3 would be receiving gifts. Thoughtfulness, making your spouse a priority, speaking purposefully. Actions to take on that one: give thoughtful gifts and gestures. Small things matter in a big way. Express gratitude when receiving a gift. Things to avoid: forgetting special occasions, unenthusiastic gift receiving, because they'll feel guilty or bad too. Quality time would be number 4, which is uninterrupted and focused attention. One-on-one time is critical. And actions to take would be creating special moments together, taking walks, and do small things with the spouse. Weekend getaways are huge. Things to avoid: distractions when spending time together, long stints without one-on-one time. That's how we get that, right? Number 5 would be acts of services, using action phrases like "I'll help." They'll want to know when you are partnering with them. Actions to take in, like you said, do chores, make them breakfast in bed, go out of your way to elevate their workload. And things to avoid: making the requests of others higher priority, lacking follow through, and taking on big and small tasks. So, I mean, for me, it's like that's how I get it. That's how I learned a lot from doing that myself. And understanding like what I shouldn't be doing, because we're kind of lost, right? And so that's
When you say we're kind of lost, do you mean as far as knowing how other people feel?
yeah, because we know how we feel, we know what we
Mhm.
want, but if there's no guideline to what the other wants, then we're kind of lost.
Yeah. I remember a friend once, when we were really young, you know how there's the golden rule, treat others as you would like to be treated?
Yeah.
She was like, well, there's the platinum rule, and that is treat others as they would like to be treated. And this is something that as I've gotten older and kind of more wisdom, it's a fine line between people pleasing and just, bending over backward. How do you want me to do everything? But with those that we love and those that we've let into like the garden of our like people garden, these are valuable relationships. What an honor to get to know them and really try to communicate the way that they can feel loved. And it also necessitates knowing ourselves, and self-knowledge does. It's funny, in recovery we have this saying, self-knowledge avails nothing, and it's basically saying you can know yourself up and down, but if you're still fucking up and doing the same stuff, it doesn't matter, which is very true. It's kind of like action, thoughts without action is nothing. But there is something to be said for knowing yourself and knowing, oh, the reason I'm so upset right now is because I love quality time. And my partner just, forgot that we had a date night set tonight. Or like, knowing, oh, here's why, right? Like I'm having this reaction.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of, like you said, things change, priorities change, right? And so when Michael, got her all ready to go, and you're like, okay, that's great. And it's different, right? And that's something that obviously communication is the key, and the ability to be able to talk about that, even though sometimes it's a little bit, you may think it's a little bit silly, you may think it's a little bit hard. It's really the key to everything else is communication, and that's what you never know everything. So it just it's helped me a lot in different relationships with people too, in general. So
yeah.
and I think that, I mean, I'm not, but I do think that guys need to learn a lot more, because we're not taught that. I mean, teaching guys is it's not a key to, especially,
Right.
like, mothers teach more than fathers, right? Fathers more like, suck it up, you can do it, and
About like emotion.
Yeah, emotional support. So, and that's one thing, I learned myself. So
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing a lot of teaching, and I think I think a really big priority of mine as a human, not so much as a woman or a man, or just I'm just a human, is unlearning. Like unlearning things that haven't been helpful, unlearning conditionings for women that haven't been helpful, and unlearning conditionings for men, unlearning the idea that we should already know how people feel and just assume because they must be like us. So I'm going to cop a resentment because I did this thing and they didn't appreciate it. And it's like unlearning all that shit is, I think, often the work of life.
Yeah.
And I think it's a really beautiful thing.
Yeah. And, we appreciate you coming out and, we talked about throwing out our vulnerabilities out there. And I think that's a key too, right? We all suffer in a way. We all trying to find our way out there. It's a difficult time right now. And it's difficult time to find our footing in this world that's changing minute by minute, not just months by months or years by years anymore. It's actually literally like hours by hours at this point. You wake
Yeah.
up and something has totally changed. I'm like, what just happened? So it's hard, and we need to support each other, and we need to reach out when we need to, and not be afraid to put yourself out there that you're hurting, or that you need someone to talk to, because everybody's needs someone at some time. So
Everybody wants somebody sometimes.
say,
Is that even a song?
I think
Anyway,
so. Yeah.
before we go, I do
Yeah.
want to do one last little
Little
plug for
Robert.
my course.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
And it's launching on August 10th. And as I said earlier, it's called The Art of Social Media. And it's really for anyone who kind of, and I don't know that that's a lot of the people that watch our show, because we have so much beautiful, and not that people who hate social media aren't beautiful energy, because I myself have hated it at many times, which is part of why I designed this course. But if you struggle with the fake news, the trolling, the toxic arguments, if you're like, I want to say something, but I'm afraid if I say this thing, people are going to come after me because I said it wrong, so I won't say anything. If you struggle with putting yourself out there, like maybe you're a business owner and you need to be talking about what you do more. And I'm like, Ruben's doing my course. And you might have, like, I used to have a major issue talking about that I was a coach, thinking, oh my gosh, what if people think I'm salesy? And what if people think I'm just like trying to sell them all the time? And I have to maintain this like cool, like relatable. And it was, I can go into that. Maybe you like really love seeing pictures of your family and your friends, but you just can't stand all of the fucking ignorant people from high school, and you don't know how to like navigate, Facebook and Instagram without having to run into these toxic interactions. It's for that, right? We talk about how to like kind of balance in the art of social media so that you don't feel pulled by all of these like waves all the time. But what the course is really about is finding your own center, finding growing that space between all of the chaos online and in the world and you. So knowing how to trust yourself, it's really about you. But I just picked social media as a trailhead because I was like, people are really struggling with it right now. Because I get it. I totally did for a long time too.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're interested, I'm going to put a link in the comments if you want to check it out. But I just wanted to share it one more time before we part ways, because I think it could be really helpful for anyone.
Yeah. Facebook stock went up because so many people are on social media now. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only downside to my course is I'm like, I hope people don't think that I'm somehow partnering with Facebook. I'm sure that would be very profitable. It's really more, this is such a huge part of our lives, the social media connection. So why not have a healthy relationship with it? Because it is a relationship. It's like most people spend more time on social media than they do with their spouse one-on-one.
And especially at this time, new people are getting on. They don't know what to do, and there's a lot of negativity on there. Yeah, there's a lot of people like, Ganesh is like up there, hi girls and all this stuff, and dude, it's bad karma to do that, man. I don't understand. You understand that that's inverted energy. So, so be careful with that stuff, because it will come back and hit you on the ass. So, but there's a lot of stuff out there that's negative, and people like, I just had to mute everybody, but that's a chore in itself. Like, having to, to say, hey, these are my friends. I don't like them. I don't like what they're saying, and you just don't need it. Like, I even have friends that are on the left side that are just constantly just putting stuff out there. I'm like, it's like a car alarm, right? you hear a car alarm nowadays, and you're not going to go out there and see if someone's breaking into your car. It's just like it becomes an annoying sound, and so I mean, like those, I mean, like it's just not something you
But
want to
I
hear.
think
But
what you're talking about,
yeah,
I mean, speaking of friends on the left,
yeah,
people on the right,
yeah,
that really these fires are happening everywhere. And I
yeah,
think
they
that,
really are. Yeah,
I actually just today I screenshotted, I was telling a friend who's not on social media, I was like, there's a lot happening. And a lot of the people that I think of as really smart and really like me, because I don't even mean to say, oh, you're not smart if you think differently than me, but people who I'm
yeah,
like, oh, of course they're going to be, operating the same way I am right now and believing the same news sources I am, and I'm wrong. It's kind of like that 5 love languages thing. And I have gotten so many, I don't know about you guys, but just kind of red flags on Facebook of like, hey, there's a lot of people who think very differently than you right now.
yeah,
How does that make you feel? And that's what the art of social media is recognizing that we can have people that are, like completely trying to trigger us, or just being themselves and we're triggered, or actively being really fake. And we're like, I know that's not how your life is. And and that is the stuff that adjusting it within ourselves. Once again, it has to do with social media, but it has more to do with like how we interact with life and how we
yeah.
allow other people to affect our energy.
And the thing is, social media is part of our life now, more than it ever has been. So you really need to take, like listen and kind of figure it out and filter it out as much as you can, because it could be a good tool and it could be a tool that just eats you up little by little, which I found myself too. I'm always on social media, so I'm on. Do
Yeah.
people like me? Do they like what I posted? Like, it
Yeah.
becomes like, it's a beautiful trap, right? It's
Oh
a
my gosh,
beautiful
we
thing.
totally talk about that.
Yeah,
I have a whole section about like, because I used to do this. I would put something up, especially if it was something I cared about, like a piece of writing that was really vulnerable, or maybe like a fundraiser I really wanted people to donate to. And if people wouldn't engage with it, I would feel really down
yeah,
and make that mean like, wow, I guess I'm not as cool as this girl over here who just got like 50 likes, or maybe well, I'm not going to like your page if you're not going to like mine. Like I would get all this like accidental drama going
yeah,
that it was never that overt. This came from like digging in my brain, but like that shit is toxic. That self-loathing that happens if you feel like people aren't responding the way you'd like them to you, or the judgment that can happen when you're resenting others because they're not responding the way you want them to.
yeah.
it's I think it's such a beautiful thing to look at, and I'm excited to
And it
have you in the
is.
course and bring your energy and introspection, because that's the other cool thing is there's going to be a community of people in there going through these exercises together and sort of talking about how it feels and what realizations they're having. And I think that's going to be the coolest part, because community matters, like energy and the people engaging in something, obviously, which is why our shows are always so awesome, because of you
Yeah.
guys.
And then we have 99 days until the election, so things are going to get more intense. So
Hopefully,
it's a
if they
good
don't
time
delay
to.
it.
Yeah, no. I mean, so it's going to be a good time to take the course, because it's going to get more intense out there, especially on social media. Especially we're not going anywhere, I believe, until December. Things are not going to obviously letting up by then.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're here with the virus. We're here with we just got to be realistic about it and optimistic that we will get through with all this. We'll get through it all. We always do, and we'll
We're
help out the
making
people that don't.
meaning.
Yeah, and we'd like to thank everybody for coming out, and we'll be
Yeah.
back here. So we'll be here Wednesday with I think we'll have Ruby Freya from Miel, who has a store, and we're going to do more of an art series. Wednesday night at 9 o'clock. It says 8 o'clock, but 9 o'clock seems to be a better time. People, have stuff to do.
Mm.
So we'll have people coming up. We'll have makers coming up. Teresa, if you're out there, I want to talk to you about some stuff too. I want to, if anybody out there that needs, a little bit of a plug and make me a commercial, talking to my friends to make me like a little video so I can put it on here too, little by little. And then we have poco a poco, which means little by little we can get this done, because everything seems overwhelming if it's like a huge ordeal, right? If you put everything together. So,
And and
yeah,
everyone who's watching still, don't forget that Ruben is an incredible artist and he has work up on his website, I believe, that you can
I took it
support.
down.
Okay, he has no visual work whatsoever. I think it's so important that as you support all of us and make sure that our work and our energy doesn't go unnoticed, that we also remember that you, the person inviting us all to show people what we're doing, that you're out here as well. And I think people would love to support you, because supporting you is like you get this tangible, beautiful piece of work that, you know, has so much energy and thought behind it. And what better time, or what more important time than now to have that sort of.
Well, I'm sponsored by the Koch brothers. So
Yeah, and I'm sponsored by Mark Zuckerberg. So we're just bought out. We're sellouts, Ruben.
Yeah, we're sellouts. So we're fake here. So
hey,
there's fake news,
Colleen,
and there's
hugs and love to you. Sorry we
Yeah.
sold our souls to the corporate people, but we love you guys. It was great to see you.
Yeah,
Hear from you.
And Colleen, you're doing some badass work too. So I
my
love
gosh.
it. So, and you know, I posted that. Yeah, I love your work. I said beautiful, and then someone else posted, yeah, I think it's beautiful too. And then I had a checker on that.
Are
Right?
you talking about me?
Yeah. I said it first.
I'm so sorry. I will never copy you ever when you use the word beautiful.
Yeah. Yes, that's my new word right now. I just trademarked it. So.
I'm going to trademark love then. Nobody, if you say the word love, if you could just cite me as a source, please, even when you're like kissing your kid goodnight. Okay.
Yeah, monetize it. Monetize it. Yeah. Good night, Zara. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Zara.
We'll play a song. We'll wave to everybody and goodbye. But come join us Wednesday for Cali Cocktail Hour, the art show, and then Fridays for Feeling Fridays, which we will come up with a new thing, right?
To be continued.
Yeah. So thank you everybody for coming out. I know we always extend our time, but good night. We love you. Mucho, mucho amor.
Bye, guys. Bye, Chris.
Cheers. Cheers.
Had a really bad day.
It's a sensitive song.
But I'm right here, it's gonna be okay. The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay. Calm your soul. Hold my hand. Don't let go. I understand. I know it hurts. It wasn't fair. It's over now.
Tilly.
So don't despair.
She's a loud one. She wants to be heard. We love everybody out there. And it is going to be okay.
The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay. If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay.
Good night. This is Kalikauta Hour. Come Wednesday and Friday at 9 o'clock. We have something surprises for you. Adiós. Gracias a todos en Sacramento y todo el mundo. Mucho, mucho amor.
It's gonna be okay. The sun could go out, we're gonna be okay.
We are going to be okay.
If all the blue skies fade to gray, we're gonna be okay.
Good night. Good night. Adiós. Buenas noches.
The world could fall down, it's gonna be okay.